Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the video diary. How's it going today? Today, it's the evening time, and it's going to be a strange one again. A crazy day where it's just me. It's just me in the flat up until, I'm going to go pick up Laura at, past 9, maybe later. Maybe gone 10 or 11, I don't know. And I am making the most of that. I already have my code transferred on Atlas, and I am now cooking dinner. It's going to take a while to cook, though. So I'm sorting out my video while I'm doing all the bits that I don't really need to be in here for. We have chicken en croûte. It's a bit fancy, mind, but it was about what, £3.50, and how much is a ready meal? £3.50. So I'll have one of these and be a bit fat, and then just make my own veg and gravy and shit. That's fine by me, boy. This actually takes a semi-decent amount of fucking prep. I need a baking tray. I'll put it on a bloody lightly greased baking tray and paid with milk. We've never actually used this. I bought it for Laura, she's never used it. Now while that's going, I am going to sort out my daily vlog and stuff. Right, what's been going on today? Today we have been having a relatively chilled out day today, to be fair. I don't know, the vibe in the office was relatively chilled out as well. How long have you been on for? Son of a bitch. 20 minutes. You should be boiling by now. Boil! We had a 2-hour long department meeting, which the last 45 minutes were just questions and deliberate stalling to not go back to work. But then otherwise I managed to get something working that I've been working on. I managed to get code coverage running on the builds because I was having problems setting up the Docker box to do it. The only issue is that I tried to pull in the next big section. The problem is we can have it, but it runs out of memory and stuff. And basically, they want me to just try and error it, figure out how much memory it needs, and see if we can give it to it, which is annoying. So that's what I'm doing. But we couldn't get it to build on the instance that we had, so I had to get it building on this Docker machine, and then basically run all the containers and stuff, but the container doesn't seem to have access to the database. So we are running it on. I raised a thing. I was like, "Hey guys, could you give me database stuff, please? Thank you." And otherwise, the migration stuff successfully ran at last. Way. So I don't know now. I don't know what happens with it. To be honest with you, don't know much about it. And then finally we were doing my refactoring stuff, and I was helping out with some testing that Tom was doing and my battery. But yeah, so that's about it really. Today, not really all that much going on. I drove back home, came in, sorted out my code so it was at a point so I could just push it over to my computer and then start cooking, because the sooner I eat, the sooner I can do other things. I just threw that bag away, but I've actually got a potato left that I don't put it in the other bag. God damn it. Dinner is looking divine so far. It's got to be said. Just got to figure out whether or not it needs to have gravy with it. That's my one question I don't know the answer to yet. But yeah, so otherwise, I am literally this evening just going to be doing programming until Laura comes home, which I'm looking forward to. And I've had slacked off most of the week so far, so I'm going to enjoy getting back on with it, basically. We're now in the awkward state where I've kind of got to be in here, kind of flit in between rooms. Oh, look at them. Is this going to be too much for one person to eat, do you think? It does say for 2. If you buy a ready meal for 2, then one person can eat it, but maybe this is pushing it. Last minute decision to make some gravy as well, because it doesn't look, I thought there might be a juice in it or something, but nope. Gravy! Ladies and gentlemen, dinner was lovely. I ate it all. It was great. And now I am going to do some work. That's what I'm going to do. I'm sitting down and I'm working right now. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the plan is to sit down and get this fucking test runner working. That's my plan of attack. And I just need to pull down this code and we are away. Mother trucker, how much work have I actually already done this week? On my week off, I've still already done 6 hours of programming. That's not bad. Either way, it's time to get in. Basically then, I've been having problems. Pull down those commits. Did I tell you to pull down already? Or cannot pull because there's uncommitted changes. Oh, I don't want that. Hello? What are you? I don't want you. Piss off. Unstage. Undo those changes. Fuck off. Get the fuck out of my life. Right then, so I need to do some re-architecting. Basically. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fucking do this shit. I swear to God, I'm done. I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of this crap. And we're just going to fucking smash it home. And I'm going to feel great. Here, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go have a cup of tea. We're doing well though, we're making some progress. I have been working on at the moment, sorry about the darkness, I've got to turn the lights off. There's no one in here, it's wasteful electricity. God damn it, door. Thinking there that like the door was going to close and I was going to catch it so it wouldn't slam. But it didn't close. Right, so what I've been doing is I've been refactoring the way that I'm creating the objects that I'm going through. It's quite like a complicated way of, because I've got like the test runner is the thing that like my program will go, hey, I've got some XUnit tests to run here, bruh, and it'll go, my code will go, here's a test runner, buddy. Like my code doesn't know that it's how it works, it just knows it's a test runner and it knows I can just throw it a test solution and it will run the tests. Underneath that thing will then figure out how it needs to run itself. That's responsible for looking after how it's implemented and all that kind of malarkey. So, the XUnit test runner needs to be able to create the stuff it has in order to do it properly. Like previously with the internal test runner, it would have a like test class runner underneath it, and that would be responsible for just being like, this is the kind of class you want, all of this malarkey. So, what it does is it loads the assembly up, goes through all of the test classes, finds the ones that it needs to run, and it then passes that on to a test class runner. The test class runner, is that right, Jimmy? You took about like genuinely a significant amount of time to. I pressed the record button and then like, am I really blurry? Is that why? No. So the test class runner. Where are we at? The XUnit thing, right, okay, so it loads the assembly, finds everything it needs, gets all the test classes it's going to run, and then for each test class it creates a new test class runner. And the test class runner is then responsible for running all of the code, that's the interface, all of the tests within that piece of code. Okay? So, inside there, it has access to things that are inside the XUnit's like framework. So it has access to the what's it called? iFront controller, is it called? iFront controller, which is like the main interface on the XUnit project. It is the thing that has like controller, you basically do controller.start, basically. You pass it the test class and then it'll go, okay, and then runs everything. My test class runner is then going to be responsible for monitoring the events that are being raised by that test class runner, by the XUnit stuff. So the test class runner essentially like hands over to the test thing, which is wrapped behind a proxy, so that I've like simplified its interface and made sure that I can't call things I'm not supposed to call and all that crap. I'm in here for a cup of tea because it's 9 o'clock. I'm not normally have a cup of tea at 9 o'clock. I'm a creature of habit. Cup of life flashed before my eyes. Creature of habit. I have tea at 11, 3 and 9. Also, the bottom of that mug was wet still. So, the test class then monitors the events that are being raised by the front controller. But it doesn't present those to the... well, until it's finished. What it'll do is it asynchronously sends itself to sleep. Does it do that? Well, this is the bit, I haven't got this far, I'm literally writing this bit as I speak. There are 2 events on the test class runner. One that says, I've finished, here are the results. and the other one that says, I should have finished by now. That's the important one. The other one is just a dummy. It's basically wraps around what is pre-existing and already there. The one that says, I should have run by now, that is responsible for a lot of stuff. So it's going to monitor when the front controller raises the I've started flags, although it only raises one flag because it's per test class, and I'm only giving it one test class. It's actually like if I didn't define the test class, it would run all of them in the assembly. So I pass it the test class, it goes, I've started testing, then it just runs through the tests. The test class runner is responsible for everything up until this point, and my thing will sit there and go, okay, I'm just waiting for the finished event. If the finished event doesn't come before the preset time goes off, and the time can be calculated cleverly, it could be like defaulted to start with to something big, and then as it runs through, it like averages out to a time. I'm thinking like define it as 5 minutes to default. If it goes over 5 minutes, kill it. Like this is an infinite loop. Because you could have a long running test that takes 5 minutes. You shouldn't, but you, like the thing as well is like these aren't integration tests because unless like it's not going to touch databases and stuff. So it's because it's going to be a wave, like there's literally unit tests. Unit tests should never ever take that long. But if they did, then I support it. And then every time I run through the test, I keep track of it and I go, okay, that took 5 minutes. It took less than half a second. Right, okay, so this time 2.5 minutes. And just recalculate the average and just store an average amount of time with one massive outlier to keep it quite big. And then if it consistently takes half a second to finish, then it should constantly take half a second to finish. And maybe give it a little bit of leeway. That's a bit I'm not sure about. But yeah, so basically that's the way I'm going to manage the infinite loops, is I'm going to be monitoring the events that are being raised. Where's my team? And that is my plan. I've now managed to refactor everything to construct it out. I'm likely, at the moment, my code's split in two. It says, like, you can tell me if you want to use the XUnit test runner. Or you can define the fact that you want to use the internal XUnit test runner. Like, and that was going to be my original... there could be a scenario where there's a test runner that works out of the box, and then I'd interface with it. And at which point I'd use an internal one, but I think that's silly. So I've been... I haven't been getting rid of it, like the internal stuff, because I still might want the case where it's an internal with a generic test class runner. But, I don't know what I started saying, to be honest with you. I've lost. There may be I might go back and just remove the idea of an internal test runner, because everything is probably going to end up to be internal at some point. When I make a move to support MS test, it's going to be internal because the MS test runner is unable to do the thing I want to do. And if it isn't, then does it matter? Does the user have to fucking define that? No, I'll just deal with it. But yeah, so fun. When you like you sat programming in like the quiet for a bit, and then you start talking, and then you realise I haven't spoken in ages, and I'm just rambling for the sake of rambling. So I apologise for that. But I'm just trying to like consistently reinforce my plan. Like, this is my plan. Pretty confident it's going to work. So much so that it's quite difficult to proof of concept. But I'm building it out properly, getting it all set up, getting it all tested. Looks like it's working so far. I'm now about to do the events on the test runner, so it's going to officially start. But yeah, it's going well. It's going well. It's like just gone 9 o'clock. Still waiting. Laura hasn't texted me yet. Like, while she is going, it is 9 o'clock. I've got a text message from her 2 minutes ago that says they've just finished the meal, time for the wine. They've gone for like a Christmas team meal, which is involving like a meal, and some of them are going out for like drinks after. I don't know the extent of that. I'm just doing the lift back if she needs it. So I've got limited amount of time to work, which is great. My tea's now finished doing. I should probably get that and then get back into work, man, because it's nice, because I only get like short chunks of time, and then I get frustrated at the fact I can't get much done in those short chunks of time. It's nice to have like a solid 3 or 4 hours of just like in front of Atlas, not condensed onto one screen. As much as I love my laptop, it's difficult working on one screen when you're used to two. Although I did wish I had 4K monitors. One day, having said that as well, one day I'm going to one day I'm going to invest in Atlas again and like essentially either rebuy an Atlas or upgrade it, whichever works out best, and then probably build my own so I can have a proper graphics card and 4K monitors. A fucking tank of a processor. To be fair, the processor is a bit of a tank, but I want a bigger SSD. I think I've got like half a terabyte and it's not enough. Need more. Why is it that computers just kind of... I don't really remember installing much, but they just like... And what is installed? Most of it is on the hard drive, like the main hard drive, not the SSD. But like, what is it about it that just seems to gain memory over time and then just suddenly, well not suddenly, but eventually just fills up? It's like a memory leak of some kind. Right, so very quickly, if you use Google Calendar on your computer, you'll find it really fucking ugly. Like, it's one of the most hideous things you've ever seen in your life. But if you get a Google Chrome app called, what's it called? Clean Google Calendar. It looks beautiful and it's what Google Calendar should look like, so you should get it. What would you guys say is better here? Like having run testing class and then you pass it the type proxy and the duration that it should take, or go with a little bit like more fluid and say run a dot with timeout duration dot thingy, then I can make sure you have to call this before this. But well, that duration is probably going to have to be stored globally anyway. Well, not globally, but I mean, does it matter? One way I have to create the duration object every single time I test it, which is going to be a time span. Are time spans bastards? I think I'm siding with the just pass the duration in. Can't think of a scenario where I would be happy to run it without the duration, which is what the other one gives me. It gives me the ability to have that as an optional thing. I guess, I mean, maybe the first run. But even then, that's me trusting other people not to put infinite loops in my system, so maybe not. I have to take a break for a bit. Yo, I'm losing it! I'm losing it! I've done like 3.5 hours of straight programming. Nearly 20 to 11. I'm going to be here for the most of the night, I think. I'm going to play 2 cheeky games of Hearthstone, and then back in, I think. Just trying to... Laura's texted me saying that like they may be leaving soon, so I'm putting my shoes on and stuff, getting ready. But I'm just trying to reverse engineer how these events are being thrown, because it doesn't seem immediately obvious. Because nothing is like subscribing to it. Nothing's obviously subscribing to it anyway. This is something where in the documentation it says, warning, here be dragons. So, oh no Graham, forgot about you tonight, I'm sorry. So, I mean, it doesn't hold up much hope that, but I'm trying to figure out exactly what it does. And by the looks of it, it seems to, let's get my coat, it's probably going to be cold outside. Probably going to have to de-ice my car, to be honest with you. So I might just like hang up my boots essentially and go and park and wait somewhere close, something like nearby. Should I do that? Probably. She said like, we may be leaving soon. How soon? Okay, I'll try and figure this out. So what it seems to do, there's this huge chunk of code here, because this runner gets passed into the test run, and it has like this message sync. Well, no, this message sync gets passed through. Nothing subscribes to like the events to trigger them or anything like that. So this must be going through and setting up the messages. So in this, bloody hell. So. Goes through and figures out what's going on here. So, In the scenario where it's a discovery complete message or a test assembly finished message, it does something. In the scenario where it's a diagnostic message, it does something else. Test failed, test finished, test output, test passed, test skipped. Okay, so test finished, it receives the message, and then it calls on test finished. Because I did a complete, oh, my mouse battery's dying. I did a complete search of the repository, and literally it appears in this one class, look, once. That's it. The rest is all bollocks. So that's when it calls it then here, because it then says then sets the message. So it's this method here that is dealing with the output to the shiznits. Okay. So that means I need the default. This is helping me, this, because you're debugging with me. I was staring at this blankly a minute ago. If I don't give this controller a oh god, that's so annoying. I've just gotten used to shift and click, or control click to go to stuff. There's F12 in this. God damn it. I could probably remap it. If I don't give you the message sync, you generate your own. What is this message sync? A null one. At which point on messages it just does true. It just says true. Because I guess the assembly runner is doing stuff. It's like, but if you don't give it messages, it will just run it and then not report it out, because it doesn't return anything. The end of the test run, does it? It just kind of just stops. It's just like, finished, bruh. Yeah, it's all managed by these events. Okay, so basically, never send it null, like I currently am doing. So I need to create my own message handler that's going to a message sync. Yeah. Okay, so I need an implementation of this message sync. It just so happens to be on the same thingy. iMessage sync. This is what I then need to control, which is a relatively small interface. I assume I have access to that from the NuGet packages. Am I in somewhere that has access to NuGet packages? Let's try it. iMessage sync. Not looking good. Was it control space? Oh, what's the fucking shortcut? Right-handed. Oh yeah, I've got that. Okay. So I can get in there, that's fine, no problem. Cool. So, I generate my own iMessage sync. And this is the thing that listens to the starting and ending, logs the results as well. This is the God thing. This does everything, is what I've discovered. This is the thing that does all of the stuff. Yeah, be the bloody dragons. Right, okay, so I don't need... I'm going to have to make my own of this as much as possible, because... So, I implement iMessage sync. I implement my own version of iMessage sync, and then that deals with the messages that are coming out of the thing. That is essentially me doing the events. So by passing in the message sync, that's the thing that receives the events out. That was the bit that was confusing me, because the assembly runner is like the thing that it uses. But the assembly runner has events on it, which things subscribe to, and it sets, but the thing below it is all done using this message bus system instead. And I was thinking that everything underneath was using the same events of that thing, and I was like, how is things setting this? Because nothing seems to set it except itself. But now I know what I'm talking about. So, it's all done by this god magic dragon thing. Also, people, please don't write fucking if statements like that. What the fuck is that, man? It's lazy. I get it. You think the one on the bottom looks ugly. Or whatever. I don't know. But it's bloody obvious what it does. Okay, so basically, ladies and gentlemen, this, like, ignore this. This is... It also does stuff as well, but this is the interesting shit. This is where we're bothered. Test failed, for example. Or test finished. Let's have a look at test finished. It sees if someone... There's no brackets here, which is why it's so bloody confusing. Why is the battery low? I've changed the battery. Anyway, if someone is listening to test finished event, i.e. it's not null, then dispatch the message, and it passes the message and then does this action, which is on test finished as method, the method event thing, passes in this object here, which is using the message M. Right? So that goes up here. It attempts to cast the message to the item that it wants. So in this case, it wants to get a test finished. Test finished, casts it. If it can't cast it, it returns false. If it can, it handles the message, which will in turn update anyone who's subscribed to the event with the result, i.e. the test finished info method thing, object. And then it will return true, and then it will go through here and it will say, in the case where test finished, it will say return not cancelled. It does that a lot, you'll see. It returns not cancelled a lot. And then, like, when does it ever return cancelled? Does it ever return cancelled? Does it just return not cancelled every time? Happy birthday! So, right, this if statement, this big thing here, the only thing it does is return not cancelled. Good stuff. What's the fucking point there, boys? What is the point? It never returns cancelled, always not cancelled. Magic. Absolutely magic. There's very few people who watch these videos now that aren't interested in my programming project. Because like, if you aren't interested in that, then I don't know why you watch. So I apologise to you people for me just walking through that debugging with you. It's always something like, you can sit and stare at something for as long as you want, but you won't really truly get it until you've started like really deep diving into it and talking about it out loud. Because then you're processing it on two different levels. You're processing it on like in your head on the way in, and then like on the way out, because I'm like trying to explain it to you, and then that refactors it into the way that I think it should work, which is all cool. So I now know what I'm doing, and I need that object. That's the secret. And I don't necessarily need that object. My test class runner could implement the object in a similar way that one already does. And I didn't have to make it as messy as that either, because I am only interested in started, finished, and finished, and then I create my own event that someone else can listen to, that I update my own way rather than their way. So obviously there won't be a message coming from their framework saying stuff's finished. Should have finished by now. But yeah, right, good stuff. Good stuff. We're making good progress. Laura's trying to figure out whether they're going to another bar or not. So I'm not leaving until I get that message. Lol. That's solved. I am going to go out and make sure the car's not frozen over though. And then I come back and then wait potentially more time. Girls, man. I'm saying that I do this when I go snooker. Laura has to text me and drag. That's her. It's only banter. We're heading Clifton direction. Led to assume that means she's going for another drink. My weak chair's on my coat. But even so, I'll check the car anyway and then come back. And then carry on a bit more, I guess. Christ almighty. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm done. I'm done for the evening. My brain's going. I'm losing the ability to concentrate. I'm going to play some games and wait for Laura to come, and then I can go and pick her up. She's like getting all over the place. She's not at Park Street. She's right at the top of White Ladies. So that's like a significant distance to drive. That's a problem. Well, I mean, like, obviously there's fucking no traffic at the moment, but like that is a 15-minute drive. obviously don't mind doing that, but I mean, like, she needs to give me enough warning. I'm just going to sit and play Orcs Must Die and wait for, I've said, like, Bubba, if you're going to thingy me, if you're going to, like, when you want picking up, let me know in advance, because it's going to take me a while to get there. Oh, let's just chill, bruh. I'm going to create a new character in Orcs Must Die. I've never played as the male guy in this game, because she's got a much better weapon. And Ashley Rocket was also always him, so I took... I'm going to try this bloke. She's in like one of these bars, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get her. We'll take her home. Bedtime, I think. It's like 2 in the morning, so probably. Even I don't stay up this late. This is crazy. Well, it's most of the time. I'll catch you later, guys.